Ed, thanks for joining us here. So, we don't really know at this point in time, right, what the actual financial picture of these companies look like.
Well,
do we? And they wouldn't be the first with bad financial profiles to go public.
Well, they'd be the first to be this bad other than WeWork, and even then, this is so much worse than that. OpenAI burned $20.9 billion in 2025. That's the audited financials that the FT and I reported. And the problem with these companies is their margins are getting worse, and their costs increase linearly with their revenues. There is no proof that they can improve their margins. No amount of specialist silicon or supposed Vera Rubins will bring these costs down. And we're at a point now where OpenAI is now potentially pushing their IPO to 2027 because they couldn't get $1 trillion valuation. It's clear that people are wising up to the problem of generative AI, which is there's not really a business there.
So that was something that was discussed yesterday on Squawk Box. The comments from Alex Karp, the Palantir CEO, making their rounds. I think we have a clip teed up. Take a listen.
The general way these things were sold, and again, these people are, Sam and Dario, there's nothing more fun than debating Dario in private. So I'm not throwing shade at them, but something has gone completely wrong. And the basic view among enterprises in this country is I'm going to chillax and waste my time with tokens. I'm going to get no value, and they're going to get my IP.
Yeah, so he was being sarcastic there, this idea that enterprises are balking at this idea that they're going to be paying all this for tokens. They're not going to be able to control the data usage and how the data is used, and they're not able to really measure ROI. What do you make of those comments?
I mean, I hate to agree with him, but he's right. These companies, Anthropic and OpenAI, they encourage waste. He actually said that these companies don't charge on outcomes, they don't charge on success, because you can't with large language models. They're inherently hallucination prone, as proven by OpenAI themselves, and so they encourage waste. They want you to spend a lot of money, and then they try and pilfer your ideas. Anthropic already tried it with Claude Design with Figma, and I believe they have a relationship with the company, and Dylan Field even said he was shocked by it. And what's crazy is, as well, is their copies of these companies not particularly good. They don't make great software. You'll notice that both Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei and Sam Altman have both said, we can't wait to see what you build with this. Well, that's because they don't know what you can build with this. They want everyone else to do their innovation for them, spend as much as they can on tokens, and then take whatever's left. Except they lose too much money for that strategy to actually work.
So then what do you think should happen? Do you believe that these are companies that should be nationalized? As we read in the intro, there's discussions reportedly that the administration and potentially some sort of sovereign wealth fund would take a 5% stake in OpenAI. I mean, is that a situation that you would like to see happen, or do you think that's more disruptive?
No, I don't think there's any need to. They talk about, I think Sam Altman said, well, we can share the benefits of AI and the profits of AI. What profits? What returns? That 5% will have to get congressional approval. The sovereign wealth fund is still an idea at this point. But fundamentally, large language models are not the future. The only reason big tech is investing in this is that they've run out of hypergrowth ideas. They don't have a next iPhone. They don't have a new Google search. So they've put over $1 trillion, with trillions more to come, into a kind of a dead-end industry, because when that ends, they'll have to admit that they don't have anything else.
So you think AI, LLMs overall, is a dead end? You see no business model here. You see no utility from AI whatsoever.
I see this as, in the future, as a boring hardware-based business, the kind of the Oracle licensing hardware model. I think this is a $10 to $30 billion TAM industry, pretending to be $1 trillion one. And because everyone's propping it up, because they have no hypergrowth ideas, everyone's just kind of pretending it's the kayfabe of the tech industry that really has run out of ideas.
It's funny you mentioned Oracle, because people were quoting the annual yesterday, quote, some of our customers, OpenAI, may be highly leveraged. We may experience risks of non-payment in our dealings with such parties. Are we going to see this from a market standpoint first in shares of hyperscalers?
I think we might, but Oracle is a particularly scary one, because they are building 7.1 gigawatts of capacity just for one customer. And they even said in their annual report that the risk was they might not get paid. OpenAI only loses money, and I think I estimate it's like $75 billion of revenue annually that they will have to pay for the full Stargate data center project in annual compute revenue. OpenAI can't afford that, and if they can't, Larry Ellison can't afford to pay back those bills, and Oracle stock will be in jeopardy along with the margin loans that Mr. Ellison holds. It's genuinely dangerous, and it's dangerous across the board for neoclouds, for hyperscalers, for every associated party of the LLM industry.
Is Oracle the tip of the spear on that, or is it something else?
I think it could be the neoclouds, because with this rumor of Meta selling their AI capacity, I think companies like CoreWeave, and especially Nebius and Iran and Cypher Mining and all of them, TerraWolf as well, they're basically outgrowths and they're subsidiaries of NVIDIA. NVIDIA is now, according to the information, going to be paying them to rent back their GPUs when they install them in the data center. This is something that only happens in an industry without diverse and real demand.
Meta is an interesting case in this instance because they don't, as yet, have the third-party cloud services revenue propping it up. But people point to their own top line having accelerated in the first quarter of this year from like 23% to 33%, presumably because they're implementing these AI tools or somehow making their platform more productive along those lines. And at the same time, it shows you the fallback option. We're creating all this capacity, even if it's not a business model. The capacity is there. We've gotten the kind of the power and the compute in place. Maybe that helps society down the road.
Well, the thing is with Meta is I don't necessarily agree. AI is not driving Meta's revenue growth. The fact that they have an effective monopoly in social media is. Microsoft, Google, and Meta and Amazon are all doing a funny little, I don't want to call it a scam, but it's a trick where because their other businesses are still growing, but they never disclose their AI revenues, everyone conflates that with AI driving their growth. In reality, their other businesses are growing, and AI is losing them money across the board. You'll notice that neither Microsoft or Amazon, who both share their run rate of AI, will share the actual AI revenues. That tells you that these companies are afraid. Public companies love good news. If they had good news, why wouldn't they share it? That's because they've only got bad news here.
So what do you think, then, is the straw that ultimately breaks the camel's back? You've got trillions potentially at stake in terms of just overall CapEx investing through the years. I mean, it seems like there is a collective desire for this to work. What ultimately provides the challenge or presents the challenge in your mind that kind of reverses all of that?
So I heard a Goldman analyst say recently that the first hyperscaler to pull CapEx will get rewarded by the markets. I think that CapEx pullbacks they're the sign. I also think any financing falling through for OpenAI or Anthropic would be a sign, but I think we're going to start seeing AI companies kind of start falling out of favor and not being able to raise money. But the big thing is debt. When data center debt stops being issued, that will be when it's bedtime for this industry, because even if they think AI is going to win, we've got 100 gigawatts or so of data center capacity allegedly under construction or in planning. That's trillions of dollars of money that needs to come from somewhere. And we are tapping out the debt markets. We saw that with Google raising that $85 billion equity raise.
Although you'd agree that spreads do not imply that moment is anytime soon.
Spreads have been wrong before. That's the thing. And I think that perhaps the timing isn't going to be immediate, but at some point a hyperscaler is going to pull back CapEx. And when that happens, well, this is an industry of followers. The tech industry doesn't have ideas. They just copy each other. Everyone copied Satya Nadella when he put ChatGPT in Bing. And I think that whoever breaks CapEx first, they'll follow them too.
All right. Ed, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ed Zitron.